Cypress Development Corp. is developing a world-class lithium resource in the heart of Clayton Valley, Nevada. The size of the resource makes the Clayton Valley project a premier asset with the potential to impact the future of lithium supply. Cypress Development Corp. trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol CYP, the OTCQB, symbol CYDVF, and on Frankfurt, symbol C1Z1. For more information, please visit our website, cypressdevelopmentcorp.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Mish Shedlock, editor of Mish's Global Economic Trend Analysis on maven.net/Mish Talk. Welcome back to the show, Mish.
Pleasure to be on.
Mish, U.S. existing home sales are up. Is that good news in general for the real estate industry?
I don't know what good news means here. Good news for the industry? I'm guessing it's good news for the industry. Is it good news for the average person? Probably not, because I think people are buying here at prices that are, well, just a little bit too pricey. The home prices keep going up. Posted a chart on that today. But the last decent time to buy a good home was 7 years ago, 7.5 years ago now, I think. Because home prices have outstripped wages for that long. So here we are. I don't know. The interesting thing to me is when I look at a chart and everyone's talking about how great the sales were, they're about where they were in 2015. So population adjusted, sales are down. But we'll see. Sales rebounded, I think, because interest rates have come in, but they're buying overpriced houses. I don't know. The National Association of Realtors was cheering the sales numbers, so from their perspective, yes, it was good.
Anything that generates a commission.
Well, anything that promotes the industry. You have to realize that the economist, chief economist for the National Association of Realtors is nothing more than a cheerleader. No matter what the conditions are, they're always going to say there's never a better time to buy a house, and essentially that's what they're saying again today.
The U.S. wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, 20 years old, $6.4 trillion spent on it. Are you going to see any kind of return, even say a return to democracy in those nations?
Well, that was $6.4 trillion wasted. The Democratic debates, I watched them last night, were kind of interesting. Got into a discussion, one of the candidates, Tulsi from the senator from Hawaii, was actually, criticizing the money spent on these wars. I think she was like the only person out there that got it. And the interesting thing to me was, watching the recap is they said she did poorly. I guess, not guess. I mean, people watch these debates, and the same thing happened in the UK debates that I watched for an hour yesterday. People always think that their person won, but make no mistake about it, we wasted $6.4 trillion. We made more enemies in the process, as she pointed out, and we're certainly no better off. But people made a lot of money off of this. The military-industrial complex, the CEOs of all the war machines and the people who make weapons, they made out really good. But net loss, I think we could have spent $6 trillion here in the U.S. and gotten a lot more for our money, because dropping bombs and making enemies is losing money.
I watched a documentary that said for every so-called terrorist you kill, you create another 100 enemies because they have brothers, uncles, and cousins.
That makes sense. I don't know if it's 100 to 1 or 10 to 1 or 2 to 1, but certainly it's more than 1-to-1, and that's exactly what's going on. We have made more enemies, without a doubt, than we have killed.
Will Brexit be any brighter or clearer after the UK elections in December?
Depends on who wins. Actually, it's going to be more clear no matter who wins, but I believe Johnson is going to win. I think he's gearing up to win in a landslide. I do caution that there's still 3 weeks left. Everyone keeps pointing out to me that the Tories are exactly where they were 3 years ago, in 2017, the same position this far ahead of the election announcement. There's a big difference. This isn't 2017. The Labor was on a tear for the period before that in 2017. The Conservatives have flatlined. This time, the momentum is solidly in favor of the Tory party. Labor has faltered. Jeremy Corbyn has the lowest popularity ratings of any politician in UK history as an opposition leader running for Prime Minister. All of these things point to a blowout. We'll see. I watched the debate. I thought it was a tie. The YouGov came out and called it a slight victory for the Tories. To me, Corbyn needed a knockout punch and failed to deliver it. But I've not seen the results of the polls yet. They'll probably come out in the next, probably over this weekend, and we'll see more of them. We'll see if there was any sort of Labor balance. I expect a small one. I don't think it'll be enough. He's 13 points behind.
From an American perspective, is Corbyn kind of scary?
Scary? I think he would be. He's kind of like Elizabeth Warren in the United States, if I can make a direct comparison. They're very much the same in terms of what they want to do. They want to tax billionaires. They want to confiscate property. They want to give, free this, that, and everything. Elizabeth Warren, they're both in favor of some sort of Green New Deal. They're very much alike. And Elizabeth Warren in the United States, I believe, is very scary. And Corbyn in the UK is very scary for almost exactly the same reasons. It'll be interesting to see in the U.S. here. We're going to have our resolution in the UK on December 12th. I think it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be interesting to watch how the support for Elizabeth Warren plays out. She's already starting to sink versus Joe Biden. It'll be interesting to see if that continues just as what's happening to Jeremy Corbyn in the UK.
We'll have more with Mike Shedlock right after this.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, Recycling Trade Publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mike Shedlock. Mish, both the U.S. Senate and House have voted to support a bill that's pro-democracy in Hong Kong. Could that derail the China-U.S. trade talks?
Well, I don't know that the China-U.S. trade talks were going anywhere in the first place, but yes, if they were, then yes, this could indeed derail it. It's kind of hard to say here. Trump needs a deal in China. I think China needs a deal as well. But China's not going to sell the farm. They can look at this and they can see, well, maybe I'll just take my chances with the next president of the United States, and they're probably hoping that would be someone like Biden rather than someone like Elizabeth Warren. But at any rate, any president other than Trump is not going to be making these, what I consider foolish tariff policy here on China. So China has a reason to actually not get into a deal with Trump, if for no other reason than to cause a U.S. recession and to get Trump out of here. So China very well could determine the U.S. election, and then we get down into politics again. I'm wondering if Elizabeth Warren is in fact the only person that Trump can beat. So we have all these kinds of cross currents in play. We need to see how the primaries go and whether or not momentum builds back for Biden, who, by the way, I thought actually did reasonably well last night in the debates.
If Joe Biden became the president, would U.S. economic policy change that much?
I don't think it would, for the simple fact that I don't think Democrats can get anything done. And I'm basing that on the fact that I believe that Republicans will still hold the Senate. Now, 2 years from now, in the midterm elections, there's going to be a potential for Democrats to retake the Senate. That's another 2 years down the road. We actually have to wait and see what happens to the U.S. economy between now and then. But for his first 2 years, no matter, let's assume a Democrat wins. I'm not making that assumption, but I'm just saying if a Democrat were to win, I don't believe they would be able to get any or many of their policies through the U.S. Senate. Certainly Biden would have a bigger chance than, say, someone like Elizabeth Warren, who wants free Medicare for all. Trust me, that's going nowhere in the next Senate. Biden, who wants to revise Medicare, maybe he gets something done. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll have more with Mike Shedlock right after this.
Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlin, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the 2019 drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mike Shedlock. Mish, do you think they've commissioned some UPA bands to celebrate in Germany now that they've officially avoided recession with 0.1% growth in their GDP the last quarter?
That's kind of meaningless, and the UK narrowly escaped one as well. Perhaps a little bit more significant in the UK simply because there's an election going on. But, all this talk of technical this, technical that, as far as I'm concerned, Germany's in recession right now. we'll see. If the next quarter the numbers are negative, we're going to have a 0.1% rise, and whatever loss we had last quarter, I'm not sure the numbers. If we have another loss, it'll be 2 losses out of 3 quarters with a minuscule rise in between. I'm sorry, that's recession in my book. So we'll see. Things don't look good. Trump is on and off again with tariffs on the EU. He's trying to fight 2 tariff wars at the same time, one against China and one on the EU. If by some miracle that Trump does work out some sort of trade deal with China, I expect him to turn his focus back on the EU, especially Germany and German car production. We'll see. One is going to follow the other. I don't think he wants 2 trade wars at once, but until one gets resolved, probably neither is going to get resolved, and he'll keep postponing these tariff delays. My expectation here is actually that if Trump gets a deal with China, and he might still, that the deal will be more or less meaningless. It won't resolve China buying twice as many soybeans as they ever bought before. That's not going to happen. China is certainly not going to change the way it conducts business in terms of theft of intellectual property of the United States. That's not going to get resolved, even if it's in the deal and they agree to it. I think that might be the last bit of good news, if there is a deal, before the stock market goes to hell. Bull markets end on good news. And for a year, the stock market has rallied every time there was a hint of a deal and slumped every time it looked like a deal wouldn't happen. And, but for the last 6 months, the stock market has just kept going up and up and up on belief that there's going to be a deal. Well, if there is, I suggest that might be the last bit of good news that comes out, and bull markets end on good news.
Mike, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Pleasure to be on the show, Jim, and we'll catch you next time.
My guest has been Mish Shedlock, editor of Mish's Global Economic Trend Analysis on maven.net/Mish Talk. If you have any questions for Mish or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@howstreet.com. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter @HowStreet. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.